Okay, so I was choosing what to do today and decided to use two of the mindful attitudes. So the grounding practice to begin for about 10 minutes. It's going to focus particularly on non-judgment. So welcoming ourselves just as we are, observing it and noticing any tendency to want it to be different. And then, as normal, there'll be a short transition, a short break. And then, when I was planning what to do for the longer practice, I was thinking about all sorts of different ideas and realized maybe I'd gone into sort of striving to do something kind of interesting or new or novel. And on recognizing that, I decided in the end to come back to really fundamental practice, which is mindfulness of the breath, which of course is very simple, but also difficult at times, because it felt like it represented the kind of non-striving to focus our attention on something relatively simple and observe what our minds do. So to begin, so the first shorter practice. So you might like to close your eyes, or if you prefer, just looking down. Just turning your attention inwards. And just having the intention to be non-judging to your experience as you arrive at the beginning of the session. You might begin to notice the types of thoughts that you have. Perhaps noticing if your mind is quite busy or if it's relatively still. Keep practicing bringing this attitude of non-judgment to what you find. Perhaps noticing if there are thoughts, the quality of the thoughts, are they relaxed? Are they planning ahead? Maybe a simple label. And just let them go. Bringing your attention to your physical body. Again, really just noticing, not knowing what you'll find in each moment. Just practicing, observing what you find as you bring your attention to the physical sensations in your body. Perhaps you just want to scan through, maybe starting at the head, just gradually scanning down your body, not judging what you notice. Just moving your attention down, scanning down until you reach your feet. Just welcoming your physical body just as it is, without judgment. Noticing if you ever notice a tendency to want it to be different in any way. And see if you can rest back and just observe just as it is. And just checking in how you are emotionally as you arrive here today. Again, noticing emotions, not judging them. Perhaps there are no particular emotions, and just notice an absence of emotion. That's okay too. And then for a few moments, just centering your attention on your breath. As always, just noticing when the mind might go elsewhere and continuing to bring non-judgment to that. Nothing's gone wrong. Just back to the breath. I'm gonna read a poem to start to bring us to the close of this first practice. It's called Perfect, and it's by Rachel Holsteed. You can't make it perfect. Life has a habit of popping up to remind you of impermanence. Be graceful in letting go, in releasing that perfect dream. Let yourself come gently down to reality, to how it really is, and to the constant change that happens whatever we do. Set your feet on the ground again and let yourself flow with the earth's turning. There is no perfection, but this dance, with all its colours, nothing to do but the living and letting go of every moment. We will start to move out of the first practice. So perhaps just inviting some movement into your body, doing a stretch, gently opening your eyes if they're still closed. Maybe having a drink if you want to, and I'll move into the next practice in a few moments. Okay, so just getting ready to move into a longer practice. So it'll be around 20 minutes or so. Finding a posture that you're comfortable in. Again, closing your eyes if you're comfortable, or just keeping a soft gaze, maybe looking down. And the mindful attitude is going to suggest that we bring to the longer practice is non-striving. And I'm going to read John Kabat-Zinn, a short paragraph, um, just to set the scene. So the mindful attitude of non-striving. Almost everything we do for a purpose, to get something or somewhere. But in meditation, this attitude can be a real obstacle. That is because meditation is the opposite of doing. Although it takes a lot of work and energy of a certain kind, ultimately, meditation is a non-doing. The irony is that you already are. This sounds paradoxical and a little crazy. Yet this paradox and craziness may be pointing you towards a new way of seeing yourself. One in which you are trying less and being more. This comes from intentionally cultivating the mindful attitude of non-striving. You might be very familiar with the concept of non-striving, but still everything is new in this meditation. So we're going to be paying attention to the breath, and I'll gradually guide less and have more periods of silence so that can be some time just to practice being with the breath and observing what happens in our minds as we do this. So to begin, just bringing your attention to where you notice your breath the most. Is it most obvious? Moving the air in and out of the nose or the mouth. or maybe lower in the body, in the chest or the abdomen. And spending some time just watching with your attention this place where your breath is the most obvious. And with this attitude of non-striving, practicing just observing the breath, noticing any tendency to want to change it, or a tendency to want to be able to focus without mind wandering, perhaps. Keep coming back to the movement of your breath in the place that it's most obvious for you. Inviting you perhaps to spend some time noticing your breath in a place that was less obvious. So if you've been with the breath in your abdomen or your chest, or the air moving in and out, just moving your attention to one of the other places and following your breath. Take some concentration, perhaps some certain level of effort or intention, and yet paradoxically just resting in the place of non-doing, non-striving, just following your breath. Might notice the qualities of your breathing, whether it's fast or slow, whether it's a deep breath, a shallow breath. Bringing the first attitude, non-judging, to that. Just practicing, observing, resting in non-doing. Over and over, keeping coming back to the breath. You might have done this many, many times before. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than this. The breath is enough. Maybe noticing as you observe if your breath does change in any way, or perhaps it simply stays the same. Perhaps noticing if any subtle aspects of striving creep into your practice, the wish to do it well or right, a wish to do more perhaps, or maybe non-striving feels more familiar or comfortable to rest back into. For the next few minutes, I'm not going to guide, there'll just be silence. So the invitation is just to stay with the practice, following the breath, not striving to do anything else for the next few minutes. To mark us coming towards the end of the main practice today, I'm going to read another poem. It's also by Rachel Holsteed. It's called Gift. Give yourself the gift of your attention. Catch the whirlwind rush and gently, calmly set it aside. Sit still and watch its flurries echo inside you. Stick with the stillness and find calm in your breath. And as the flurries dissipate, find the knot inside whose tight curling, tense clinging is at the center of it all. And sit, and still sit, and know that in time the knot will unfurl, release, and there will be space again. And space becomes your gift, encircles everything, slows the pace, lets the light in. So we're coming to the end. We're just going to slowly make the transition so you can keep your eyes closed if they have been. Perhaps just briefly checking in with yourself as we did at the beginning. So without judgment, just noticing how you are as we come towards the end of the practice. And starting again once more, just to invite some gentle movement into your body, whatever feels right for you. And taking your time, just gently opening your eyes. Maybe just having a look around you, just noticing the objects in your everyday surroundings again. Okay, thank you.